Happy Revenge of the 5th. Today I want to talk about Star Wars in its entirety. Why? Because I can. Listen, Star Wars in its entirety is something amazing, something fluctuating, and something that we can all agree upon that has had its ups and downs throughout the years of, movie making. Why? Why? Why do you ask me? Well, I ask you to ask me why. Why are these being sold everywhere? Think about it. Why are these being sold everywhere? Why are little stormtroopers being sold by the pound? Little stormtroopers! Well, I'll tell you why. They're being sold by the pound simply because, well, Star Wars is the natural phenomenon. It formed the way movies are supposed to be made, and they're still being made to this day the way that it is. Why? Well, what else do you want me to say? I know what you're thinking. Star Wars being the way that it is now, with the sequels and the upcoming things throughout the Disney Plus, what makes it so important even today? And how is it primarily in the running of that of Marvel, which is probably a little bit better than the Star Wars we have now, just in terms of sales and in terms of how much cultural impact superheroes now have on the world? I want you to think about this, okay? Superheroes at one point were considered nerdy. Nerdy. That means if you like Spider-Man and you read comic books, you're gonna get down that toilet so fast with your head swirling all around. And it's a little sad. It's depressing. But all those bandwagoners, ever since they seen muscles on Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth, all the Chris's, they changed their mind. But to be honest with you, it's something of imagination. It's something that, honestly, I didn't think was ever going to occur. Let's go into detail a little bit more. All right? The idea of Star Wars being something bigger and better could be actually an option. But the entirety of Star Wars, think about every story that's ever been told, you're going to have to tell it from just different perspectives. You can't have the same kind of writer in a room. You can't have the same kind of actor in the room. And you definitely can't have the same kind of director. Star Wars is too big for that. Now, there was a time where you could have one or two directors, and that was when Star Wars was first being made. Now, you're talking about shows, you're talking about, merchandising, you're talking about theme parks. Theme parks! We're talking about things that has never been seen before, and it's 2020, and I know the parks are closed right now, but you have to understand, the idea of making a big franchise, even bigger than, say, Marvel, or even co-aspiring to headline with Marvel, could be something of amazing, to be honest with you, okay? But to be real, it's something that we could all look forward upon. I mean, Star Wars is literally what made the careers of Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill being a very decorated voice actor and an actor in general, Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher being the most legendary actress of all time, and coming from legendary actors and actresses, Debbie Reynolds and that other dude, I don't remember his name, don't at me, but coming from that sense of power, you have to understand that Star Wars is something of a cultural phenomenon. Now, there are good points in Star Wars. The characters, the movies, everything in its entirety lives and breathes why we do the things we do, and think about the things we do now. I mean, Luke, I am your father. That's said on literally every cartoon adult show ever. And every cartoon adult show, and every show in general, does parodies of that said thing. It's pretty darn amazing. I would say so. But who knows at this point? I mean, anyone could probably say they can do parodies of anything. I mean, there's parodies done of Back to the Future, which we'll get into another video, and parodies done of, Jurassic Park, even though that wasn't a very, big movie at the time. Maybe it was, but it wasn't as big as Star Wars. Or maybe even, like, say, I don't know, Harry Potter, or any Quentin Tarantino movie. Those things are done very, very well. And the way they go about this idea of the world is amazing. Now, Star Wars is an entirely different thing, because you could make a story about pretty much anything with no repercussions, and it could be amazing. That means you can bring a new character in the mix, and the amount of new characters you can bring into the mix, my gosh, it could be just amazing. That would leave a lot of people wondering, the diversity in this stuff could be really, really cool. I mean, you could just think of a black character or a white character or an Asian character and put them in the story and not have any repercussions by the fans or anything else. It could be just something great. You never know. You never know. So Star Wars could be something good. And I know we're kind of in a rough patch now between the divisiveness of the fans, but maybe there's more to come. You never know. But who knows? The divisiveness of the fans could speak volumes. But, you know, you never know between now and the beginning of next year, you know, when Disney Plus has a headline of stuff coming out and the year's coming, we could see a lot more with Star Wars than ever been done before. I mean, we see Obi-Wan, you know, the second season of The Mandalorian, and this whole headlining of directors that are coming into the mix and writers. Come on. There's hope for things like this. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, hope is what Star Wars is based off of. A lot of the stories of Star Wars is based off this idea of hope. And what is human nature based off of? Hope. Hope that this Star Wars thing is going to turn around and the divisiveness between the fans is going to come together. You never know. You never know. So, yeah, I mean, this is hope, okay? So, in closing, keep hoping that Star Wars will make it better because there is great things in Star Wars. Star Wars in its entirety is not just bad. It's good too, you know? And I know it's not Star Wars in its entirety. I didn't go entirely into Star Wars, but I just went on a broad aspect of Star Wars. So, just keep hoping that Star Wars is going to get better. Because when it is, and when it does, it'll be great. Now again, this is just my opinion. I don't necessarily think that Star Wars is bad. And I don't necessarily think that Star Wars is doing as best as it can. But there's always time to make do with it. And I promise you, hope is what we can base a lot of our things on. So if you don't like this video, then you don't have to like it. But if you do, go ahead, leave a like, and subscribe if you can. Oh, also share this video. And happy Revenge of the 5th. And happy late May the 4th. Have a great day.